highly effective education for students, not just on language dimensions but also on other areas where various stakeholders want success. Mehisto, 2012. Even if the school is excellent at language maintenance and language revitalization, its justification for students, parents, public and politicians ultimately derives from it being a form of holistically effective education. While social justice and equity can be a colorful flag to wave for bilingual schools, their success in developing each child academically as well as linguistically, cognitively and as citizens, as contributors to the economy as well as to a community, requires a bilingual school to deliver the multiple and complex agenda of education and schooling. While this section concentrates on language issues, all the attributes of effective schooling are relevant to bilingual schools. There are elements that make all types and models of bilingual education more or less effective. Mehisto and Genesi, 2015. While dual language policies, provision and practices are a keystone of such schools, effectiveness reaches far beyond language. Teacher professional development can be designed to help all staff members effectively serve all students. For example, professional development programs can sensitize teachers to students' language, cultural and racial backgrounds, increase their knowledge of second language acquisition and help develop effective curriculum approaches in teaching language minority students. De Mejia and Elliott, 2015. All teachers can be trained to recognize themselves as teachers of language, irrespective of their subject area. The mentoring of new teachers by more expert and experienced teachers can be valuable. Such initial and in-service staff development may include student, community and wider societal awareness programs. Models and curriculum approaches to bilingual education, cultural diversity, and the politics that surround local and regional implementation of education for bilinguals. Caballero, 2014. Fillmore and Snow, 2018, indicate particular teacher competencies that bilingual, and all, teachers need, based on their multiple roles as classroom communicators, educators, evaluators, citizens and socializers. They suggest that teachers need to know the basics of language form, e.g. phonemes, morphemes, regularity, lexicon, structure, dialects, academic English, spelling, and not just language functions and uses.
Classroom activities to foster cross-cultural competence can include enacting social conventions, the presentation of cultural rituals and traditions using authentic visual and written materials, discussing cultural variations, e.g. the colorful kaleidoscope of Latin American dances, festivals, customs and traditions, identifying the varying experiences and perspectives of the particular language variety, e.g. of French Canadians, of the French majority in France, of bilinguals in France, e.g. Bretons, Provençal, and classroom visits by native speakers of the language for question and answer sessions. It is important for bilingual classrooms to go beyond the surface-level features of cultures, e.g. food, holidays, dance, traditional costumes, etc., to deeper understandings of how culture frames one's understanding of and interactions with the world, how culture is dynamic, and the complex and ever-shifting relationships between language, identity and culture, especially as experienced by bilingual students. Valdiviso and Nieto, 2015. Schools and classrooms are highly complex organizations. They are sites where there are a multitude of actions and reactions, inputs and processes, variables and changing environments, and differing local, regional and national expected learning outcomes, targets and outputs. The formula for success is never simple, partly as success is diversely defined and understood, and partly as perceived effectiveness varies across person, administration, region and time. Also, the mixture of factors affecting effectiveness is so complex that simple recipes are impossible. Effectiveness inevitably goes far beyond language medium and language outcomes, to embrace the full education of a student. Ultimately, effectiveness is about what is deemed best for the child and society, and not just for the future of a language. However, there is sufficient international research, grounded wisdom and accumulated expertise to make it possible to suggest key factors that need discussion and interpretation in effective bilingual schools and classrooms. This chapter attempts to provide a menu for that dialogue. Special attention needs to be paid to the continuous evolution and progression of the minority language in bilingual schools. This is due to the typically lower status of the minority language, the Anglophone nature of much mass media and the dominance of common denominator majority languages outside the school. Such bilingual schools can considerably develop the minority language learnt at home so that it has more uses and potentially can be used in more domains, e.g. reading, writing, preparation for employment. The child's use of the home language is raised to a much higher level of complexity, communication, competence and confidence. The school will widen vocabulary, deepen meanings, teach conventional syntax and help with the standardization of the minority language, e.g. new terminology in information technology. The school also gives the minority language status, esteem and market value to its students.